Our next speaker is going to be Sonja Bochart. Sonja is a design leader in health and wellness for over 20 years, and she has an extensive background in creating spaces to support both human and ecological well-being. She works nationally as a principal and sustainability leader with Shepley Bulfinch, a national award-winning architectural design firm. And her portfolio includes leading the design for projects in most all building sector typologies, including workplace, healthcare, educational community, mental health, and cultural centers. So thank you, Sonja.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I'm honored to be here today. Very grateful to be with you all. My name is Sonja Bochart, and I am a designer that's focused on health and well-being in the built environment. So what I'd like to do is take you on a journey through biophilic design. We're going to move a little closer in. You know, if Tim's talking about the bigger scale of the cities, I want to talk to you about the places that we live, we work, we play, we learn, and we heal. But first, this is my place. This is the desert. I'm from the Sonoran Desert. It's my home. I still live there. Some people think the desert's cold and barren and sterile, but I think it's full and rich, full of texture and life, rhythm, cycles, quiet and wild. What if we introduced our place before we even introduced ourselves? This is the place I work. It's a wonderful office environment full of rich patterns, shapes. I'm connected to the cycles and seasons around me. And in the next slide, I'm going to show you, demonstrate a little bit about why I do the work I do. So this is an image from a large healthcare client. It is an image of a project that was just designed, and they're quite proud of this space. So people are going to spend 40 hours working in that space. Is that a space you'd like to work? And then you notice kind of off to the side are some office spaces. So when I toured through the space, I thought maybe those offices will be a little bit nicer. Every day. So there's so much work to be done. We're starting to see some changes happening. So this was recently published, and you can see there's some daylight coming into the space. But I ask you again, is this a place you'd want to work? Is this a place you'd want to work? And I say, are you feeling the love? I'm not feeling that connection here. This is really what we're faced with in the industry. Some might say this is biophilic, ample light, connection, you can see the sky, but do you feel the spirit of place? These are the places we love. In my years of working in biophilic design and workshopping and asking people the places that they'd want to be, it's always in nature. It might be in their backyard. It's the elements. It's the water, it's the air, it's the nature, it's the quiet, it's the place. This is what we're trying to create. So Erich Fromm gave us the definition of biophilia in 1964 as our passionate love of life and all that is alive. That is what we're trying to create. Spirit of place, love. Love in our places. So I'm not going to speak too much about the research around biophilia for health and well-being, but I will tell you that it influences all the systems within the body, the stress response, blood pressure, heart rate, the nervous system, the functioning of the brain. Physical, emotional well-being. And we didn't always live like this. Despite having spent 95% of our evolution evolutionary history in natural environments, deeply connected and immersed in nature, the majority of the human beings around the globe are now urban dwellers. And we're going to continue to see this pattern. Why is biophilia so relevant and so important? It's all of the research that connects us to the reduction of stress, the reduction of violence, the reduction of crime within our cities. So biophilic design is our response, fostering human-nature connection in the built environment, bridging that gap. I like this diagram. This is from one of my students at Arizona State University. Very simply, this is what we're trying to create. So I am just going to touch on some of the highlights of the research related to biophilic design in the built environment. From the scale of community, I'd like to just highlight, again, stress reduction, less violence, less crime. Many of you are probably familiar with these statistics. I think the interesting increase of youth self-discipline, very interesting. We're all probably very aware also the importance of biophilic design and development in values, in property values. A lot of the work in biophilic design and research started in the 80s with noted reductions in length of stay in hospitals with the view. Less dependence on pain medications within these environments. Even a more positive response by the caregivers when they're in biophilic environments. Retail, we're going to pay more, we're going to stay longer, we're going to be less stressed. Lots of research around the workplace. The 6% productivity increase is on the conservative end. I've seen ranges in studies up to 20% increase in productivity. Stress reduction, creativity, less absenteeism. In education, we're seeing decreased stress, improved attendance, improved attention, improved test scores. So now let's take a journey through biophilic design. What do these spaces look like? What do they feel like? So Stephen Keller, the social ecologist and senior researcher scholar at Yale, was often referred to as the godfather of biophilia. He provided a common language and a category for us to explore the opportunities for biophilic design. The first one is environmental features. It's the one that we're probably most closely connected to or aware of. And that's bridging that gap with the actual elements of nature, vegetation, water, animals, geology, habitat. Ku Tek Put Hospital, a garden inside a hospital or a hospital inside a garden. Water as rich elements layered in and around our buildings. This is at a cancer center. Water, soft curving forms, variation in landscape, a place for respite. Yeah, delight, joy, engagement, places to interact, places for children. And then bringing those elements directly inside, into our learning spaces, into our healing environments, as maybe little moments of awe. The next element is natural shapes and forms, botanical motifs, colors, shells, spirals, and domes. Simple, playful gestures, pops of colors, forms that entice us. Repeating patterns surrounding us, creating senses of wonder. fungi. How can fungi inform design? It's really close. It's right down there at the CSL, Center for Sustainable Landscapes, and it translated like this. Simple, sweet gestures, reminding us of our connections. Light and space, we'll hear from Vivian Lofness more today about the circadian rhythms, which monitor our health, our wellness, our mood, our sleep and wake cycles. But there's so much more to light as in the experience, the variation of light. If you noticed in those examples that you saw early on, the static linear light, not very life-giving, not very much like nature. Creation of the dappled light into shadow play. Light as monumental, light as awe, light as function. This is in the Austin Central Library, the best daylit library in the world. Light as ornament, fun, playful, thought-provoking. Natural patterns and processes. As we are part of the nature, this pattern is about awakening the senses, considering sensory variability, transitional spaces, connect us to cycles and seasons, fractals, growth, efflorescence, and the age and patina of time. Anyone seen this image before? Living Building Project, Birchie Life Science Wing. This is a rainwater collection runnel that moves through the classroom so that the children can be connected into cycles and seasons and the treatment of water. And it's lovely, and it has references to the fossil, the fish. This is the Biophilia Enhanced Through Art program here at the Center for Sustainable Landscapes. It's multi-sensory. It's mainly local artists. It's interactive. There's sound, different textures, different mediums. It's what makes us feel whole and connected. And then how do we connect to even the wind in and around our buildings, these types of gestures? And it's not always what we see that matters. Very much in biophilic design, it's what we don't hear. It's designing for quiet spaces, reflective moments. And then creating those spaces in and around our buildings, like this example around a healing garden of a hospital, where someone can find respite in the sound of chimes. The fifth biophilic element is place-based relationships. This element refers to the successful marriage of culture with ecology in a geographical context. That connection to place is deeply inherent in who we are, and for most, that connection has been lost. So this is our opportunity to reclaim it. That can take shape in many different ways. This is the rooftop garden that you can see looking out the windows there. This connects us to local native habitat. It gives us opportunity to bring in those species to richen the habitat, to think about the birds, the bees, the bats, the insects, create that rich ecological habitat. Austin Central Library, it's a lovely gesture to create a space for us to come together and gather within. Storytelling and supporting concepts like equity and inclusiveness. This Core 10 suspended art here at Phipps, historical connection to place and sacred geometry, and again, supporting local artists. A great example of wonder and awe, the garden by the bay in Singapore. The creation of these larger-than-life giant tree structures. A canopy you can walk on, daring and dynamic, unique to place. And then finally, evolved human-nature relationships. This is our biologically based human affinity to nature, focused on the fundamental aspects of our relationships to nature. They include such things as prospect and refuge, curiosity, the importance of beauty. Those places that are beautiful are places we connect to. The places that we connect to, we love and we hold dear. This is a simple gesture in a student housing project. Comfortable, connected, and grounded. The use of fire bringing people together. Order and complexity and refuge. Curiosity and enticement. And prospect. More public spaces that entice and engage. This kind of feels to me like a tree house full of possibility and curiosity. On the back part of that slide, kind of way to the background, etched into glass, are quotes that the community collected to be put up, just quotes of inspiration and fun and play and learning. So that's fostering creativity and connection. So I'd like to just close by talking a little about how we create this essence, how we uncover the essence of place in biophilia. Whatever scale project you're working on or thinking about, it's always helpful to have early engagement and commitment from your teams on fostering that connection to nature and nature's patterns. It's important to have everyone at the table, community members, stakeholders, artists, biologists, ecologists, historians, whoever can contribute and give their voice, students. We found that mindfulness and nature immersion, play and storytelling helps us to create empathy as we're creating these frameworks within our projects. And then always having a focus on a regenerative mindset, supporting life. It's not about doing less bad, it's about what can we be contributing? How can we make a positive influence that will carry forward? This is a nice short film that many in this room are in. It's from some recent workshops that we were a part of. It talks a little more and it explains a little more about the process of engagement for biophilic design. And then I'd like to leave a few thoughts with you on suggestions for carrying this work into your lives. I'd suggest just deepening your connection, whether it's through hiking or your own enjoyment in your backyard, or whether it's connecting with ants, whatever it is, deepening your connection. To learn more about biophilic design, the best short read I could advise is Chapter 1 from Biophilic Design, Colored Heerwagen and Mayhor. It's 20 pages. It's wonderful. Start where you are. So whatever's coming up for you, that's something you can work on, whether it's in your home, your office, your child's school, start where you are. Have the conversation. And then the last thing I'd leave you with is to learn the essence of place. Connect to places like this, to gardens, historians, museums, cultural centers, to indigenous knowledge, to the elders, to native landscapes, park, community, plants, animals, and art. And the last slide I'd leave you with is a contemplation by Dr. Kellert. All design of the built environment, including the biophilic desire to harmonize with nature, reflects what is called the wooing of the earth. If practiced with restraint and respect, we can avoid arrogance and environmental degradation. With humility and understanding, biophilic design can enrich both nature and humanity. Thank you very much.